Go Jackets.
Good afternoon, all, and welcome to another excellent episode of Rec Talk. So, what I want to talk about today is this article in the AJC. It says Georgia wants to keep Buster Faulkner through the playoffs, and I was kind of shocked by this. I thought once you took a job somewhere, that was it. You didn't work for the other company anymore. So let's see what it says. And this is not, it doesn't quote unquote what the question was, just what Kirby's response was. So, keep that in mind. It says Georgia coach Kirby Smart was asked if Faulkner was still performing his duties with the Bulldogs. Now, notice this is a present tense question. So his response is kind of confusing to me. We're going to determine that at a later date, Smart said. I'm still in conversation with Buster and Brent. I'm assuming Brent Key. It's not something that's pressing right now because he doesn't really need to do anything at practice. So if you're asking why is he still performing his duties for Georgia, how can the answer be, well, we'll determine that at a later date? Like I'm trying to think of a question that would make that little sense. Are you still playing Xbox? That will be determined at a later date. So again, I imagine that the question wasn't exactly worded this way. That probably explains why. So why is Georgia so concerned with retaining Buster Faulkner throughout the playoffs? I mean, he's not their offensive coordinator. He's an offensive analyst. And the article lays this out too. It says, as an offensive quality control analyst for the Bulldogs, Faulkner is not allowed to be on the field with the team during practices by NCAA rule. His primary responsibility has been to help break down opposing defenses and formulate the game plan with coordinator Todd Monken and the rest of the Bulldogs offensive staff. So it's like, well, then why are they so bent on keeping him? They have another offensive analyst in Mike Bobo, by the way, who, for whatever reason, a lot of Georgia fans hated when he was their offensive coordinator under Mark Richt, even though, and this was, I guess, my question to fans at the time was, well, he's averaging like 38.5 points a game. Why is your coordinator? Offense doesn't seem to be your problem. You seem to be quite productive at offense, and Georgia fans wanted him gone. So I never understood that. Here's why they want to keep Buster Faulkner on staff throughout the playoffs. This is a quote by not Taylor Bennett. Taylor Bennett was a quarterback for the Jackets. Now I can't remember his name. Anyways, he is the mediator between me and Monk, Bennett said. Me and Monk don't really talk during the games, talking about Todd Monken, which is probably a good thing. Buster listens to what Monk says and filters it out. And this brings up more questions. One, why is there virtually no Stetson Bennett? Why is there virtually no communication between the offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, and Stetson Bennett? Like, is Todd Monken just like a grade A-hole or something? And like doesn't know how to talk to players during a game, particularly quarterbacks? Or is it that he doesn't like Stetson Bennett and maybe he feels like, they have far more talented quarterbacks on the staff that he'd rather see run his offense? Either way, it's an interesting thing for him to say because, in regards to them not communicating, being Stetson Bennett and Todd Monken, he says probably a good thing. Bennett says that's probably a good thing. That's a little weird to me. I don't know if that struck anyone else as weird. You would hope your offensive coordinator and your quarterback mesh very well. This is important. So what Georgia is most likely afraid of is that if Buster Faulkner is not able to be this filter and kind of communicate with Bennett during games in the playoffs, You might see a decline in Bennett's play, or you might see Georgia struggle on offense for that reason. And I'm not saying all fans, I'd be willing to say if they struggle at all during the playoffs and Faulkner isn't on staff helping, they're going to point to that as an excuse. So I don't even know what the conversations could be. Let me know in the comments, like, how can I'm trying to think of two competitors. If I'm working at AT&T and then I take a job for Verizon and AT&T has a major project coming up, like, in what world would I help AT&T, who I don't work for anymore, in some important project that they're doing? Like, I don't get that. Could you maybe contract them out? Like, what is the conversation between Kirby Smart, Buster Faulkner, and Brent Key? I tell you what you might do is say, hey, you can have them for the playoffs, but you're going to have to pay us $11.37 million. Don't ask me why that number's so specific. We could really use it, though. I don't know. From where I'm sitting, like, Georgia would never consider this if the shoe was on the other foot, right? And nor should they. You hired the guy fair and square. The only thing I think Georgia could really do is say, we're going to buy out the contract he just signed and hire him back. And that would be up to Buster Faulkner. But I don't know. I don't know why we would ever entertain letting him stay on staff when we're in a critical time in college football with the portal open right before early signing period on the 21st. In what universe would we let him still go work for our rival to help them win another national title? I don't get it. If you can help make sense of this, leave it in the comment sections. A few announcements. If you haven't liked and subscribed the video, please do that. It helps the channel out, and it helps get it out there to more people, particularly tech fans. Also, live show coming up this Sunday, 8 o'clock with Cdogg. And if you want to support the channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. I appreciate everyone's support. We're coming up on 600 subscribers. I think we're about 4 short at the moment. Let's get to 600. And if we get to 1,000, we're going to do something special. I'll let y'all know what we're going to do for 1,000 subscribers in the next video, when and if we hit it. Have a good day.